Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you how I like to color and shade my drawings. This has been highly requested recently, so I thought I would give it a try. I try to draw as quickly as possible, so all my tips and tricks on how to draw, or in this case color, I do very quickly. It's not necessarily the best way to color if you're trying to make like a masterpiece or something, but it works well for me if I'm in a hurry because all my drawings are done very quickly. With this method, I can usually color something in about 15 minutes. All of these tips will be done in Paint Tool Sai, so they won't exactly work properly in other programs. Though I'm sure you can find a way to duplicate my method in other programs as well, so I hope it still works for you guys if you don't use Paint Tool Sai. And this video won't be a professional tutorial, I'm just gonna kind of ramble about what I'm doing and hopefully you guys understand what I mean. Now that I'm done with line art, I'm going to use this magic wand tool right here, which I think it's a magic wand tool, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but I use that to select my drawing and like where I'm going to color. Then I'm going to use this light yellow for the hair. Well, when I'm doing blonde hair, it's the hardest to color, so I decided I'll do that one since, you know, it's definitely the most difficult. I'm going to do 3 different colors here just to show you how I do it, and then hopefully it'll make sense for all the other colors as well. We're just going to make a new layer and then use it in the clipping group up there. This way, when you color, it doesn't leave, well, the layer you're working above. Now we're going to change the mode to overlay. This will make your black, well, a good color for shading. See? It just looks, well, like a color you would use to shade a yellow. I start off with drawing just lines, and then after that, I do little spikes on the top and bottom and leave the middle uncolored. This makes it look kind of like you're doing hair, but it's very simple and fast to do, yet it looks like you took time, even though you really didn't. So it's kind of like a cheat to make your hair look like you, well, put a lot of effort into it. The same overlay of black looks like a completely different color on each color. See how on the brown, it looks like a color you would use for brown, and then on the blue, it's going to look like a color you would use on blue. Even though it's just the same overlaid black. See, this makes coloring so much faster. Now I'm going to make a new layer, only in overlay again, only this time I'm going to be using white. With white, you can do the same thing, only I'm going to be doing it for the middle. And in the middle, I'm going to make these little shines where you do a line and then a little squiggle and then a little line on the end. And this makes it look like a shine in the hair. I use this in all my drawings and it does the same thing. Like on the brown, it looks like a color you would use on the brown, and the same with the blue, and all it is an overlaid white. So I use the overlay mode in order to get the colors I'm going to shade with a lot faster than if I was trying to actually find the colors. Now I'm going to make another layer and overlay it, only this time I'm going to be using the airbrush. The airbrush I use for, well, using gradients. And with the gradients, I can just add a color like that and it looks nice. Then I'll overlay white as well and just put a shine in the middle. Now we'll try this on the real hair. We're going to be doing the same thing with a new layer, only an overlay and black. Overlaying black on this hair will make it look like I'm shading it. Only, like I said before, blonde hair is the hardest to shade. So I'm going to be using another color to shade at the end, so I can show you what color I use. Though with other colors of hair, I don't normally need to do anything extra, I can just overlay it. I'm doing the same method again, where I just draw lines and then I just kind of spike it up and down. And then it kind of makes it look like hair. That's just how I do it, and it's really quick and really easy, but it still looks good. So it's a great method if you're trying to hurry and get your drawings done quickly. Which is what I'm trying to do since I'm on YouTube and I need to upload, well, rather frequently. You just kind of apply this idea throughout the entire hair. You kind of just have to guess where the hair is going and kind of make it look like it's flowing down in that direction, which is why I draw the lines first. Now I'm going to need a different color for shading. You'll see here I'm going to find this reddish orange color for shading. It's also like a brown, but I use this for shading my blondes, when normally I would just use another layer and overlay the color. So if I'm doing blue hair, instead of this, I will just make another layer and overlay black again on top of blue hair, and it would look okay. But for blondes, I like to add this color because without it, it looks like the hair doesn't have any shadows, and I don't like how that looks. You'll apply this just like you applied everything else, only this time it's going to be, well, a little bit more on the edges and less in the middle. Kind of like how you did the yellow at the beginning, but more on the edges again, further away from the middle. Now make a new layer and we're going to overlay white again, just like before, only this time we're going to be doing, well, the little shines in the hair, like I showed you on the little palette things I showed you before. Now we're going to be making a new layer and overlaying black, and this time we're going to be using the airbrush tool because we're going to be doing, well, like I showed you before, and just adding some airbrushed black overlay over top the hair. This adds a lot of color and makes it stand out. For this, a lot of times I drop the opacity just to make sure that it doesn't look, well, overbearing, even though my colors are always kind of overbearing. When merging your layers, you gotta make sure to start from the bottom and work your way up, or else you're gonna mess up all your overlays. Now on the top of your screen, click on Filter, then click on Brightness and Contrast, and up the contrast of the entire hair once it's all together. I'm gonna be using a blue, since that's rather easy. First, you just add circles for the pupils. Then you're gonna be overlaying a black in a new layer. You're going to continue overlaying a black in a new layer and then mixing it in with the water tool. If you don't have a tablet, I recommend using the blur tool instead of the water tool because, you know, the water tool never seems to work well with just a mouse. I'm not sure why. Then I just overlay some white with the airbrush. Now I'm going to take a light blue color, only this time it's going to be in normal mode. And I'm just going to put circles at the bottom of the eye. I like to do this and then put the opacity down. Now I just hook all my layers together, and then after this is done, we're going to make a new layer, and then this time it's going to be a dark blue, and we're just going to put it over the entire layer. Then we're going to change the mode to screen. And now I'll just add these little shines. I usually put just 2 white shines in the top right and then little ones in the top bottom left, and then add little blue dots for whatever color the eye is supposed to be. Now we're making a new layer, only this time the mode is going to be luminosity or illuminosity. Only this time we're just going to take this blue and put it over with the airbrush like so. But then we're going to change the mode to the luminosity, and that will make it look real nice and make your eyes pop out. Then we're just going to fill in a white at the bottom. Every time you're adding a new color, make sure the layer is at the very bottom, and then we just add this black on the tops. It's just like a little line, and then drop the opacity, and that's pretty much how I shade eyeballs. Once you have the skin selected, we're just going to use a very pale skin color. For darker skin colors, it's pretty much the same method. And this is the color I will use for shading. Though with darker skin, you just make this a little darker, and it pretty much works the same. So I usually add it on the nose and on the tops of the eyes, and wherever I think a shadow will be cast. Like for instance, when she has bangs, so there's going to be a shadow across the entire, well, her entire forehead. Also, I'll add a shadow over the lips, and, well, the upper lip, and then her neck, where I think her chin would cast a shadow. And in her ear, I usually add a shadow as well. And a shadow right here, where I think her arm would be casting one. Now make a new layer, only this time we're using the airbrush with the same color in the normal mode, just to add, well, that little gradient on her face. We'll blur it in with the water tool or the blur tool, either works. And we'll do the same on her neck. For blush, I like to use this color. Then we'll just add it on with the airbrush on top. And then drop the opacity with the same, well, we're just going to use the normal mode. I'm going to use the same color in order to use lipstick because she's in a formal outfit. Now I'd assume she'd be all like dolled up. Then just hook all your layers together like before. Then I just up the contrast in order to make it look, well, better. I like upping the contrast. It makes it look like you put a lot of time into it, even though you really didn't. It's a great way to hurry. Now we're going to be using a dark red, only we're going to add the shade mode and then just put it over and put the opacity down to very low, like a 2 or 3. Now I'm just going to select the clothes and then add a color, whatever color you want. I'm going to add a texture here so you guys can see that the overlaying black works even if you have a random pattern. So if you add a pattern to your clothes, just do it like normal. Act as if the pattern is just part of the original color and then overlay a black wherever you want your shading. And it'll work just like any other color. Now just select where you've drawn out any wrinkles beforehand, and then put some black over there. First, we're just going to drop the opacity in the normal mode, and then we're going to make a new layer copying this layer, only this time we're going to be overlaying the color. So 2 layers for shading this. But I like to add an extra layer and then just airbrush on some black. It's just going to be black overlaid like before. It's very simple, and it's pretty much the same method throughout the entire thing. Then we're just gonna hook all our layers together from bottom to top and then up the contrast. Now take the darkest color on the hair and add little strands of hair throughout it. It makes it look, well, more detailed. Now we have to hook the entire drawing together, which is going to be the same method. You just from bottom to top put it together just in case you had any, well, outstanding overlays. Now let's make a new layer and we're going to be putting this dark red over it like before. We're going to change the mode to overlay and then drop the opacity. This makes the entire drawing kind of merge together. If any colors weren't going together well, and now we're going to do it the same thing, only this time the mode is going to be screen. Then we do it a third time, only this time the mode you're going to use is shade. Then it's going to go down to either 2 or 3 on the opacity. And that's pretty much it. I hope this made sense. If this didn't make any sense, please let me know and I'll try to answer some comments in, well, the comment box and try and make it make more sense if it didn't. I'm sorry, I'm not good at tutorials. I'm just kind of rambling and hoping it makes sense. I'm going to post this drawing on DeviantArt, also the line art version. So I would like to see you guys practice this method. This method is not a good method for making really great looking drawings, but I like it for going very quickly. So if you're a type of person who likes to make their drawings quickly, but still want them to look decent, this method may be good for you. So I'd like you guys to try it and I would love to see how you guys do. So I'm going to go on DeviantArt and I'm going to post the line art, just the line art. So you can go up there and download it and try coloring it yourself. And I want to see how you guys do. So please do post it and tag me. Tag me on Instagram or DeviantArt and let me see it. Because I'm actually very interested in seeing how you guys do it. And I'd like to see your coloring method. You can even color it however you like to do it. I just want to see how you guys all color. Maybe I'll learn something, you know, because everyone colors so differently. And I always learn most of my tips from seeing how other people color, though. With Paint Tool Sai, I had to kind of come up with a lot of the tips just on my own, so I hope it makes sense. And I know it's not really a great way to coloring since all my colors are very bright. Like, I use very bright colors, but that's just how I like to do it, so I hope you guys like it as well. And I hope this video helped, if any at all, because a lot of you guys have requested it, and I hope it's what you wanted, even though I'm not great at tutorials, so you know, it's not great. So make sure to let me know what other things you'd like to see me draw, if you'd like to see other random tutorial-ish videos. Just let me know, and I'll be trying to work on OCs as well. So thank you guys so much for watching.